Gangs of Sherwood is the new 1 to 4 player co-op action game from the folks at Appeal Studios and Nacon, set in a new take of the world of Robin Hood with mechanical machines, heavy artillery, or a flying fortress, bringing the memories of the good old AA 360 PS3 era design and feel, playing as Robin Hood, Maid Marian, Little John, or Faith Tuck. You'll fight waves of enemies and bosses under the Sherriff of Nottingham. Right off the bat, it sounds like a good, fun game, but is it? I've put well over 20 hours into the game at this point, and I'm conflicted on it. Some parts are fun and others are not. Gangs of Sherwood shows its budget, and it feels that way. It all depends on how you feel about these mid-tier, quote-unquote, AA games. The game is only $50, which is a nice thing in the new era of $70 games. Most of my time playing was spent solo, and I think it's balanced well for solo play. There's only 12 levels in the game. 9 are story-based, which takes around 30 minutes for each run on normal difficulty. 1 is a 3-wave boss rush, another is a 30-wave survival, and 1 is just an extra boss fight. After the tutorial, you'll be thrown into the hub area, White Oak. Here you can upgrade your characters, train, buy outfits, buy new moves, play challenges, or change characters. You pick your mission and head off into a level. The gameplay is pretty fun. There's a light attack, heavy attack, dodge roll, block, parry. Eventually you'll get powers and a timed buff. The levels are pretty linear, with only slight deviations of where you can go. Robin and Marian can squeeze through small gaps to get to chests or shoot down targets to access new areas, whereas Tuck and John can lift heavy gates or logs or just break down barriers. This is where playing solo can be a bit annoying because you can't get everything on one level playthrough, and the chests include gold or temp buffs that you can slot in for the rest of the level. Each level seems to have 2 boss fights, sometimes more. Combat is decent. They'll give you a score like Devil May Cry for not getting hit, high combos, different moves, being flashy. You don't have to worry about it too much. There is an achievement to getting an S rank, but on my channel there will be a guide for an easy S rank. But later on in the game, when you get more powers and more moves, you can easily get high level ranks. Every time you hit a checkpoint, you'll level up, you'll get more health and more damage. It's only for the current stage you're on. 30 minutes per level does seem like a lot of time, but it certainly doesn't feel like a slog to play. That only happens with subsequent runs. Story-wise, the game feels a bit short, but there is replayability with the upgrades that can change the character's playstyle, or just play through the game again with a different character. I only got to try out 2-player co-op for a couple levels, and I think it's fine. I do wonder how chaotic 4 players will be. You can only have one of each characters, so plan ahead with your friends on who's going to play who. Which I get why they do that, because one of the characters in this game is so overpowered. You wouldn't want 4 of those on your team, and it wouldn't make it fun. Graphically, the game is okay, nothing to write home about. There is some pop in here and there, clipping through walls, or seeing some textures not aligned properly. There are some nitpicky things like the NPCs look rough, and their mouths don't move when they talk. That's just more kind of funny, if anything. There are some legitimate criticisms. It lacks a lot of quality of life things that you would expect from a game like this. Having some truly bare bones menu options. Having the only option be like motion blur and brightness is wild in the current year. Having the opening movie play each time you boot up the game and having to skip it is pretty annoying. Hopefully it can be a toggle in a future update. There's a lack of a side quest list, so you have to remember which ones you have done and guess how many there are. I did them all, but some are a bit obtuse on what level you need to do a certain task in. There needs to be a way to see which level you've beaten with each character, and having a counter with how many collectibles there are in each level. I get why they don't have gold shared across the characters, but with how expensive everything is, it's going to be such a grind. I just want to take a second to show you how expensive everything is. Now, I had 9 more to go on here, so 99,000 coins. I thought, okay, I can grind it out in like 15 minutes with Marian. So that's what I did. But when I came back, they all were starting to cost more. Like up to 16,000. But then when I bought this one, it goes up to 19,250. Which then again, I only had a couple hundred more to go, so I just did another run, and that's what I did, and I got them all. But with Robin and his instinct ability with the first one he gets, that's like overpowered, so he's gonna be fine doing this grind with the boss rush. But Tuck and Little John, I don't know how anybody's gonna do that by themselves. You'll most likely need a Marian or Robin to help you out with that. Now here I go, you see we only have 32 gold with Robin, and they start off pretty easily. I was like, okay, I can do this, but no, every time you buy stuff, it goes up. And remember, this is only for the shards. You still have to buy moves from the other lady, and that has moves, more Rebel Bar, and more artifact slots. So still have to buy a bunch of stuff, and it's such a grind with 4 characters and no shared gold. Hopefully they fix this in an update. You can get like 10k gold per story mission, but that's a huge time commitment with 30 minutes per run. In the boss rush you can grab 20,000 in 6 minutes with Marian, but with no shared gold between your characters, it doesn't help that much. It only helps with Marian. I would either add in shared gold, increase the amount of gold you get per mission, or drastically reduce the prices of the shard upgrades that alter your playstyle. Some of the outfits cost 100,000 gold, and that felt insane to spend that much, which I did buy one. If you want the most OP character, played as Maid Marian. Her magnetic daggers and the flux attack shred any boss, any enemy. Just throw 8 daggers at a time and do a flux attack and see that health bar drop each time. Channel your inner link and just roll around into anything and everything. Gives you a small amount of gold, and sometimes it'll drop you health orbs. More gold allows you to level up quicker at these checkpoints and gives you more gold. And it gives you more gold at the end of the level. With Tuck always be using his heavy attack, that works pretty well. With Little John, you can always generate heat for your gauge when enemies aren't around, so you just gotta hold up until it says heat and then let it go. If you're playing in co-op, make sure you pick a small character and a big character so you won't miss any chests. For all my achievement hunters out there, this one's gonna be a grind, having to beat every story mission once with each character. That's 4 to 5 hours each. Get all upgrades and moves for each character. That's going to be a slog of a grind, getting all that money. As of me writing this, I have 45 out of the 52 achievements. I'm not sure if I'm going to go for the completion right away. I think grinding out all of that money isn't a good use of my time right now. But I've gotten a couple of 0.0% achievement unlocks, which is a great feeling. Hashtag bragging. Would I recommend Gangs of Sherwood? Yeah, it's a fun game, and if you're going to play with some friends, it's a great time. Playing solo is also fun. It's not one of those co-op games where you're so at a disadvantage if you're playing solo. I feel like it's a solo game first, then they added co-op, but that's just me. I am going to have some achievement guides go up, so go subscribe and look forward to those. Comment down below if you're picking up Gangs of Sherwood. Thanks to Nacon and Dead Good Media for the opportunity to play it before release. If you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the Gangs of Sherwood achievement guides I'm going to put up.